Hello, fifth graders. Miss Lockhart here. I am so excited to do this drawing with you all this week. We're going to be using our color value shading techniques that we practiced last week to make this candy drawing look three-dimensional and very colorful. You're going to need a white piece of paper and a pencil, and you will need a fine point black marker or pen. Okay, we're going to get started. Don't forget to pause the video whenever you need. I'm going to draw a circle on the top left. I'm sketching, which means I'm doing my best to draw a nice shape, and then if I don't like it, I go around and erase and change it until I like it. You can also use a cup tracer. And you'll see I just started a second circle right to the left of the first one, and it comes off the page. Go ahead and do that as well. Do your best to follow along, but you definitely can pause it. Now I'm going over these shapes just so that it's a little easier for you to see, so that they're a little bit darker. You'll see I have two circles. They're quite similar in size, but they can be different in size too. These drawings are all going to be different. That is what is so cool about art. Okay, now we're going to do an oval, and the oval also is going to come off the page. It's almost like drawing a raindrop or an oval, and then here I am connecting. There, now you can see it's like an oval or an egg. Great. The next shape is going to be rectangular. We're going to draw it at an angle. And let's start by drawing a slanted line with curved points. And then we're going to do another two diagonal parallel lines that come off of that first line. Connect those two, and you'll have a rectangle with curved corners. You can also curve the corners later too. Now let's make it look 3D. Some of you probably already know how to make 3D squares or rectangles. It's pretty fun. I'm going to draw 3 lines that come from these corners, and I'm going to try to make them all the same direction and the same length. You'll see I'm adjusting that one there to make it a little longer. I'm going to go ahead and go to the right here and bring it down. That's about the right length, and then we'll connect those lines at the point, and I'm also keeping my corners curved, just like the candy. You'll see I'll have a little erasing to do. But first, I want to go ahead and draw the little end of the plastic. You'll see these lines are kind of zigzags at the end, and then I just brought it out of the middle of that square that's closest to the right side of your paper. I'm going to do the other side now, kind of have a curved line and then do some zigzags and curves. You can really make this line look however you want. Then bring it back down to the top of that rectangle to look like it's coming out the other side of the candy. Cool. Now I'm going to do some texture lines so that the candy looks like it's in a wrapper that has lots of folds and crinkles. It makes it look a little shiny to have those lines. And then we need to erase the line behind that wrapper. Great. Do a few more little texture lines at the top. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to do a few fun squiggly texture lines over here on our oval. They're curves, and that there is a curve that goes around the perimeter or the outside of our oval to look like a wrapper. You'll see I'm kind of doing a little, you could call it a skirt almost, the little wrapper coming off the end. It's 2 lines that are curved and connected with the zigzags, and you'll see I'm doing more texture lines to represent the shiny plastic. Now I am just going for this line. If you want to use a ruler or a straight edge, you may do so and pause the video. It's coming right out of the wrapper, just like it would with real candy. And then can you see the lines that I need to erase? Yes, they're the lines that you wouldn't necessarily see when you have an overlapping object. You always have to erase the lines behind, unless what's overlapping it is see-through, like what we will encounter in just a moment. Because those plastic wrappers are usually see-through. See, I like to tidy up my sketch, add lines, erase lines. That's why it's so important to use a pencil at first. Okay, so we're going back to our circles. You'll see I'm starting the wrapper on the very first circle that we drew, the one that does not come off the edge. I'm going to be drawing a curved line over it, almost like an eyelid. You'll see. So it's kind of like a curve that goes around the top and stops about at the middle. Notice it's at a slight slant. It's not quite a rainbow, it's a rainbow up on its side. And I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. There we go. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to do another curved line under it, but I'm actually going to intersect or cross over the circle. It's curved and it's about the same direction, the same kind of slant. And now I'm going to connect those lines with a diagonal line. I do a lot of erasing, as you probably will too. And there's that second line to connect the curves, also at a slight angle. It's not horizontal, it's not vertical, it's kind of tilted. Okay, now I'm going to connect those with another curved line underneath. It goes underneath the circle. You'll see it's starting to look 3D. Oh, this is my favorite part, the zigzag end on your candy. The candy wrapper has kind of like a crinkled end. Okay, so we're going to do the inside of the next circle. This is probably like a lifesaver, some kind of candy with a hole in the middle. So do a circle, and then we're going to do a crescent shape on the top. But first, let me erase that. It's a little bit messy. Erase that line. Now, watch how I do a crescent on the top of the circle. It's kind of the top to the side, but a little to the left, but you can do yours right on the top if you want. There's our crescent moon. And I'll tidy it up some. Awesome. So I need to do another line under the lifesaver to make it look 3D, like it's tall. You'll see I'm doing another curve that's the same kind of curve as the one right above it, right there. See? There it is. So they're almost like stacked. It's like almost the same line, but stacked. And I'm going to bring it over to the right. And this wrapper that I just ran into is see-through. So why don't we go ahead and just connect that line? You can see, there it is. Now, you have an option to put the wrapper on this lifesaver or not. You'll see I do the wrapper, but it gets a little bit confusing. So don't worry about the wrapper if you don't want it, because maybe that candy's about to be eaten. Who knows? So I'm doing it similarly to the other, where I'm kind of doing curved lines under the lifesaver. It could also be a breath mint. And then I'm connecting those 2 curved lines on either side, and then I'm creating a zigzag, just like the other round candy. But you'll see I do a little erasing and I try to change it some. Okay, yeah, we don't want the wrapper to overlap the candy, because you can't see through the round candy on the right, but you can see through its wrapper. So I erased it over the candy. And now, let me go ahead and change it a little bit. So this is what I was talking about, guys. Just be patient with me, you'll see. I'm going to make it look better. That way would have worked, and without a wrapper would work fine too. So you'll see how I do it the second round. Okay, so you can see through the wrapper, so I connect those lines to make the Lifesaver look tall. The line goes up on the right-hand side. And here's the top of the wrapper. It's a curved line, but it's shorter, and the one underneath is pretty short too. See there? Okay, now I'll connect those lines just like before. That looks better to me. And now I'm going to do the zigzag at the end of the wrapper where it's crinkled and bunched up. Cool. Now you can see more of the wrapper. I'm happier with that. Great. Now there is one more candy I want to do in just a minute, but I'm going to sort of fix up some of these marks that are a bit confusing. There we go. Okay, you could also use a ruler for this candy. I think they're called Sweeties. I'm just freehanding it because I'm gonna do some erasing if I need, but you want 2 parallel diagonal lines. This candy is also coming off the page, which is kind of fun. It makes the composition of the drawing more interesting when things come off the side of your page. So I'm doing curved lines on either side in between the 2 diagonal lines. And there you go, it looks a little 3D. I cannot wait to color it with you all with colored pencils. It's going to be awesome. This next portion of the video is sped up a little bit because I just wanted you to see that I am going to outline next with a fine black marker, fine point black marker, fine point Sharpie works, or a regular ballpoint pen. Go ahead and try to outline your drawing, and then you will erase the leftover pencil lines and you'll be left with a really nice, clean, black outline drawing of some 3D candy. If you'd like to spend this time, instead of outlining, you can spend this time working on your candy shapes. If you had a hard time with the drawing, you can always go back and pause it. You don't need to spend more than 50 minutes in total on your art for this week. We will finish this next week. I will demonstrate how to add color value and how to layer the colors on top of each other to make intermediate colors. And we'll be doing shading, and we'll be learning about tints as well. It's going to be awesome. When I outline, I have to be careful not to outline the wrong thing because we do have a lot of overlapping. We want to make sure that we don't do a line that we can't erase that isn't supposed to be seen. So go slow when you're using your black marker or pen. It looks like I'm going really fast, but it is slowed down just a little. Okay, so it looks like most things are outlined and I need to erase it. Oops, you can see that line that was erased didn't have a black marker. That might happen to you too. Make sure you find that and put a black marker there so you can find your line again. Okay, everyone, we're almost to the end of the video. I hope you had fun and try to only spend about 50 minutes on this project this week. If you exceed that, you can always stop wherever you are in the drawing and pick up next week. Okay, everybody, I sure do miss making art with you in person. I cannot wait to see you again, and thank you all for participating and trying your best. I hope you're having fun. Okay, bye everyone.